The twin sons of Orin, a harsh, alien world at the edge of the known galaxy, cast long shadows over the dusty expanse of the labor camp. Rows of enslaved aliens worked tirelessly under the unrelenting gaze of their overseers, who were armed with whips and pulse rifles. Among the captives was Liraya, an otherworldly woman with emerald green skin and eyes that shimmered like liquid silver. Once a proud scientist on her homeworld, she was now reduced to breaking rocks and hauling minerals, her delicate hands blistered and bleeding. The labor camp was a hive of despair, a place where no one dared to hope for freedom, until a human named Jack arrived. Jack had come to Orin under dubious circumstances. A former soldier turned drifter, he had made a name for himself as a reckless gambler and smuggler, always one step ahead of trouble. No one knew why he had taken a job at the labor camp, working as a mechanic to maintain the overseer's machinery. Some speculated he had debts to pay. Others thought he was just running from his past. Jack, however, had his own reasons. As he worked in the camp, he couldn't help but notice the cruelty inflicted on the aliens, especially on Liraya. Despite her suffering, she carried herself with quiet dignity, her eyes always scanning the horizon as if searching for a way out. Jack felt an inexplicable pull toward her, a mix of guilt, admiration, and something he couldn't quite name. He began to strike up conversations with her when the overseers weren't looking, learning snippets about her life before captivity. Liraya was wary at first, but gradually opened up, sensing something different about the human. One evening, Jack overheard the overseers planning to eliminate the weakest workers, including Liraya. They needed to make room for a new shipment of slaves. Jack's stomach churned. He had seen enough death in his lifetime to know he couldn't just stand by and let it happen. That night, under the cover of darkness, Jack put his plan into motion. Using his access to the camp systems, he disabled the security cameras and hacked the locks on the alien barracks. He found Liraya among the prisoners, her silver eyes widening in disbelief when she saw him. "What are you doing?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "Getting you out of here," Jack replied, his voice firm. "No time to explain. Follow me." Liraya hesitated, but something in Jack's gaze, a mixture of determination and desperation, convinced her to trust him. Together, they slipped through the shadows, avoiding patrols and security drones. Jack had mapped out a route to the perimeter fence, where a stolen transport waited. But as they neared the fence, an alarm blared, shattering the silence. "They know we're here," Jack muttered, pulling a pulse pistol from his belt. "Stay close." The two raced toward the transport, ducking behind crates and machinery as overseers closed in. Jack fired at their pursuers, his military training kicking in. Liraya, though unarmed, used her agility and knowledge of the terrain to outmaneuver their attackers. Just as they reached the transport, a pulse rifle blast grazed Jack's shoulder, sending him sprawling to the ground. "Jack!" Liraya cried, rushing to his side. "Go!" He grunted, blood seeping through his shirt. "Get out of here!" "Not without you," she said fiercely. Summoning strength she didn't know she had, Liraya helped Jack to his feet and dragged him into the transport. She took the controls, her scientist's mind quickly adapting to the unfamiliar technology. The engines roared to life, and the transport shot into the sky, leaving the labor camp far behind. As they sped through the atmosphere, Jack slumped in the co-pilot's seat, his breathing ragged. Liraya glanced at him, her silver eyes filled with concern. "Why did you do it?" she asked softly. "You risked everything for me." Jack managed a weak smile. "Because it was the right thing to do. Someone had to." Liraya stared at him, a mixture of gratitude and disbelief washing over her. For the first time in years, she felt a glimmer of hope, not just for herself, but for a future where compassion could bridge even the widest of divides. Together, they vanished into the stars, two fugitives bound by a shared act of courage. The galaxy, vast and unforgiving, awaited them, but for now, they had freedom and each other.